Hi everyone. So the last video, if you watched it, you would have seen me unbox the Oase BioPlus 50 thermo. And at the end of it, I talked about how I had some issues with the clown killifish and shrimp getting sucked up through these gaps in the bottom of the filter. Since then, fish shop Matt, who I'm sure you're all aware of, he reached out and pointed out that when I was unboxing the filter, I was missing a part, which is this little base plate. Which covers that section and stops the fish getting sucked into it. Very handy. This wasn't included in my original box, and I reached out to then Oase, and they sent this to me. Within a week, it was here at my doorstep, ready to use. So can't fault them on their customer service. That was brilliant of them, really speedy, and didn't even question it. They were just like, "Yeah, sent out to you. Give me your address." So thanks to Fish Shop Matt for pointing that out, because otherwise I would have had a filter that I'd never use, and Oase for sorting me out and sending it over. That's really good. Obviously annoying that it wasn't in there in the first place, but I've got it now, so now I can install this filter into my clown killifish tank again, and hopefully this time I won't lose some fish.
So the original audio of this footage was completely unlistenable, so I'm having to voice over here. But I've removed the filter and the heater from this back section, and these were much smaller than the new Oase BioPlus filter, so I'm going to have to remove some of this liminophilia out of this back section, relocate it, and just create a bit more of a dense wall in front so I can hide the filter from view a bit. Overall, the plants are looking really healthy in this tank. They're growing really quite nicely. Crypticon balance is stunning. So the filter's now installed, and I've got it set up so that it's all coming out of the main flow vent rather than the side sort of small holes. This will create fast directional flow and distribute any fertilizer much more evenly. I recently trimmed the pearlweed on the left here. It's really growing so densely now, and it's looking really good. I do need to keep on top of this. It grows so fast. And down here I am getting some of the Helanthus tenolom growing back. It all died off after I planted it, but clearly the roots stayed intact, and it's now popping up leaves all over the place. I've also got some hair grass popping up as well. The Buse is looking great, and the Nubius, that's all doing really well. I didn't get any melt on those. It's growing really nicely. So yeah, overall, the tank's looking really good, and I really hope that this new filter will bring it up to the next level and really help the plants to thrive and stop any sort of dead spots in this tank. It also keeps it all contained into one corner and keeps the heater out of view, creating more room for planting. And the clown killifish really don't seem to use the planted area at all. They are truly surface dwellers and stick up in this area above the pearlweed, so that if they did get scared, there is not far to swim before they get some cover. But generally speaking, they are up and about, displaying to each other and fighting for the best territory in the tank, which seems to be this area. You can see the males here are sparring, and they do this all the time. I still need to try and get some really good footage of them up close of doing this. I've got some nice pictures, but no footage just yet.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do a quick water change to remove any of the particles and stuff that I have disturbed in the filter, and by removing some of those plants I've kicked up some of the natural soil substrate that's underneath. So I'm going to get a quick sort of 10 to 20 litres out of this tank. So that's the water change done in this tank. I'm just going to let it clear, and I'll take some footage of the killifish to overlay and show you, because they are looking so good at the moment. It's now time to sort out the filter and pop it onto my quarantine tank. So to the other side of the fish room. So I've swapped out the 60 litre that I was going to use for a quarantine tank for a slightly smaller tank. It's about 20 litres I think it is, but it's 50 centimetres long but very sort of narrow. I'm going to pop a filter at this end, and then I can just put a big bit of hardscape in there as and when I have fish in there to act as shelter, but it'll make it really easy for me to observe for health issues and catch them back out to transfer them to a new tank. I'm hoping to go fish shopping just after Christmas, maybe into the new year. Head up to probably Maidenhead Aquatics at Taunton, see what they've got. I want to find something a bit busier for the tank in my lounge. It's just got the Chilirosporas and the half-beaks in after I had the issues with the samurai gouramis. So maybe another species of gourami, maybe another shoal, maybe some blue neon Rhizosporas, or just even more Chilirosporas. But I want to get that tank a bit busier again. So yeah, that's hopefully what I'll do in the new year, and they'll go in this tank. So I'm just going to add the mature filter from the clown killifish plant farm tank, which is just down here, sat in water to make sure it didn't die while I was maintaining the other tank. Give that a quick clean and transfer it over. And now, before, in the previous video, I was going to keep both filters running in the clown killifish tank to make sure that the new filter got some bacteria in. When I took it out, I did put the media that I was going to use in the new filter in a sump of another tank, just to allow bacteria to colonize those medias. So it's actually got cycled media in there now. I'm happy and content. I do quite a lot of water changes on that anyway, so I think there'll be no issues, but I'll continue to monitor the nitrogen wastes and make sure they don't build up. And then I've got dechlorinated water already in here, up to room temperature, popped a heater in at a low level, and now I've got my filter ready to turn on. And that will be my quarantine tank for now. So the suction cups on this filter are pretty terrible now. They've lost their suction, and I've actually lost one of them as well. But it'll do the job. It doesn't need to be anything special. I do have a lid, so if any fish that are potential jumpers are added, I am sorted in terms of that. So while I am over here, I will just quickly update you. So the licorice growing tank is still looking really good, and this new scape that I did, it's growing in really nicely. The limonophilia is starting to poke up above the wood now. In the back corner, the Eleocharis isn't quite doing anything. The lobelia is growing nicely. I need to take some cuttings as the lower leaves are transitioning to their submersed form and dying off. I need to trim them back a little bit, I think, but it's looking really nice, and I'm really quite pleased with that. I will do an update video on here and test out some botanicals in there, although that's not going to be the most popular decision, I don't think. I think a lot of people, including Amy, would rather I left it planted like this. So it's now time to do some filter maintenance and see how much gunk this new filter has taken out of this tank. The previous filter was just a very coarse sponge, and as such the water clarity was never crystal clear. And as you can see by this filter pad, it has already taken out a lot of crap. It's time to put the filter back in, and it's so easy to maintain this one. It just clips in with those magnets. No fiddling around with any fiddly clips or anything. Just make sure that the plants aren't stuck or trapped in there anywhere. And then I can turn it on, which, yeah, nice and simple. Cloud of air bubbles come through and a bit of detritus, but it'll soon absorb that back into those foams. So yeah, really quite pleased with this filter. Now it's actually working properly and I've got all the parts. And just some shots of the inhabitants to end this video. While I say thanks for watching, I'll be back soon to create a bit more content, hopefully. So bear with me, just busy period over this sort of festive part of the year, and we'll be back to doing some awesome stuff and adding to the fish run.